You're still searching for that breakthrough that always feels just out of reach. What is your true life path, and how do you finally find it? Welcome to Say It Anyway, the podcast where we help you unlock the breakthrough you've been waiting for so your true life path can finally come to life. Each week, we share powerful practical tools you can use right now to start transforming your life. You'll hear raw, honest conversations with people from all walks of life, people who found their way forward and are here to share mindsets, strategies, and wisdom that help them get there. I'm James Ferrigno. I've helped people reconnect with their power for years. I'll guide you beyond surface level solutions into a deeper way of seeing the world, one rooted in connection, courage, and open-hearted dedication. This is your space to think differently, live boldly, and finally do the thing you were meant to do. Let's get started. I'm James Ferrigno, and today's guest is Dr. Danny Geren. He's intuition medicine practitioner, acupuncturist, Chinese medicine practitioner. Welcome, Danny.
Hi, how's it going, James? Good to be here with you.
Pretty good. Doing pretty good today. Yeah, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Yeah, happy to be here.
So I guess we'll just dive into it. What led you to being a Chinese medicine practitioner? What led you to that?
Yeah, when I was little, it was really interesting. I was in the car with my grandparents. We were driving somewhere, and I was like daydreaming out the window and just like looking at everything passing by. And this was in Southern California in Encino, so in the valley, so nothing uh, glamorous or anything, but there's all these strip malls, and I saw on a storefront Chinese writing, and it said acupuncture and herbal medicine, and I was like, "Oh, that looks cool. I'm gonna do that someday." And my grandma, yeah, my grandma was like, "What?" She like pivots in her seat from the front seat to look back at me. She's like, "Okay, okay, okay, just get your MD first." So it was always like pushed on me to do Western medicine or be a lawyer or whatever, But I don't know. I just knew. I just knew that I was going to do it someday. But
And
I completely forgot about it.
okay, how old were you again? Oh,
I was like 8, 9 years old.
okay, wow,
But,
that's young.
yeah. And now I know with hindsight, with all my practice and meditation, that I've had past lives doing acupuncture and being a healer. So
Mm,
it makes perfect sense. But
okay.
I forgot all about it. In undergrad, I was doing all pre med stuff, even though I didn't want to be a Western doctor. And then I started going to Chinese medicine practitioners. And during that time, I was also learning Reiki. So I was starting to do energy work. And then what happened was that Western medicine was like, here, you should take antibiotics for this. I had really bad acne, and it was so bad that I went to the doctor, and they're like, here, take these pharmaceuticals, take these things. I was like, I don't really want to do that. That doesn't make sense to me. And so I
Right.
went to Chinese medicine practitioners, and they were like, here are herbs, here's acupuncture, here's all the things we can do, here's the dietary changes you need to make. And I was like, oh, this makes sense. And I started
Mm-hmm.
doing those changes, taking those herbs, cooking them, boiling them, drinking them, even though they taste awful, but they worked really well. And now I have a little bit of ruddy skin, but I don't have a lot of acne, which is nice.
Yeah, that's always a plus. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I've had the same experience with the Chinese medicine as well. People don't often think they think there really is kind of this widespread belief that, well, those might do something, but it's the pharmaceuticals that are really strong and will really, take care of it. And it's like sometimes that's the case,
Yeah.
but often not. Often that's not the case. Often it's the Chinese herbs that are more powerful, stronger.
Absolutely. I've had a lot of experience like that too. Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, it really surprised me at first. I'm like, wait, this really works. This isn't. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
When like really severe infection, I did Chinese antibiotics.
Oh, nice.
Boom.
Yeah.
The whole thing where you boil it on the stove and
Yeah. Yeah.
have to get it just the right uh, tincture made, and yeah, it's
Mhm. Get
office
your
smoke.
house smelling awful.
Yeah, yeah. And anyone you live with loves the smoke.
Uh, I actually found an electronic teapot version of it that automatically boils it down for you. And so
Oh,
I would plug it outside and just do it outside. It was awesome.
wow, new technology. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow,
In
sounds.
case you're ever doing it.
Yeah, I definitely in my future. That
Yeah.
because sometimes that's necessary. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Just a little bit more to that story was that, um, I rebelled against doing medicine because it was like forced on me. Everyone's like, this is what you should do. And I was like, I just didn't want to do it. And then I came around to the fact that, oh, okay, I really do want to help people. Like I always knew that. And I knew healing would be a really good way to do that. I took all of my MCAT exams, which is the entrance exam for med school. I had interviews lined up for med school. And then I went to the schools to start touring them. And I had just started dating my now wife. And at that time, I was like, I'm doing the wrong thing. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I thought that I needed to do the Western medicine to be taken seriously. And realized that that was sort of just a foolish notion that I didn't really have to do that. So she was like, I'm going to get you a Vedic astrology reading for your birthday. You do this astrology reading. We'll ask about your career and see what they said. I was like, okay, well, I'm thinking about doing Chinese medicine. I really like loved acupuncture. I think that would be a really cool thing. So I do the Vedic reading. And the astrologer is like, oh, well, you are born to puncture the skin and heal with your hands and draw blood. So being an acupuncturist would be great.
That's
So
very specific. Yeah.
very specific. So I was lucky in that sense. I knew what I was going to do.
Wow, that's nice to know. And part of the reason I have this show is to kind of help people find that because not everybody just has it come to them like you or
Yeah.
Spielberg or whoever it comes to
Mhm.
you, your kid,
Right.
right?
Right. I
Yeah,
count myself very lucky.
yeah. There can be a lot of most of us, decades of struggling to try and find out exactly what it is, and
Hmm.
um, yeah. So trying to point people in that direction, yeah,
Yeah.
give them whatever we can.
Absolutely.
So, has your how is your personal healing journey connected to this, to your more professional life, if they
Yeah.
are?
Yeah. Absolutely. There's a huge connection. So I have a lot of, I have various specialties. One of them is pain management and neurology. And that's just because I really enjoy it. Um, I really like helping people. It's very satisfying. There's quick changes, which I love. But the other one is spiritual and emotional healing. And so I grew up with in a family where my mother has a lot of serious mental health issues. She's been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder. My take is she has a pretty extreme narcissistic disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a brother who has, in some ways, milder versions of the bipolar. He's undiagnosed. He has Tourette's syndrome, so he has a lot of tics, and that he's also extremely narcissistic and abusive. And so I grew up in this, and I battled my own depression, my own emotions, and it got me into meditation. So when I was 21, I started meditating because I was going through a very serious depression. And
Mm-hmm.
then once I got into Chinese medicine, I was like, oh my God, I love this. And so I started exploring a lot of emotional and spiritual healing and learning extracurricularly and continuing education and postdoctoral training, getting my doctorate. And my capstone, which is like a dissertation, was on emotional and spiritual healing through Chinese medicine. But it wasn't only that, it was also that um, working with the topic of depossession, of clearing out energies that are not yours. And so
Mm-hmm.
through going through developing more intuitive skills, through going through the Academy of Intuition Medicine, which I know you're a graduate of as well, which is where I've been teaching for the last 7 years. Um, I delved into possession and spirits and being taken over by other people's energy and
Mm-hmm.
started realizing very quickly that that's what my mother had, that's what my brother had, and that's what, oh,
Absolutely.
lo and behold, I had a ton of spirits that were connected into me that came from them, that I've had since I was born, because my mom had this and she transferred it to me. So it's like this intergenerational passing of spirits between people.
Uh,
So it's been a huge journey of healing that, and so I do so much work with that, and a lot of people get referred to me because I've done that work on somebody else, and they've had amazing healings.
mhm.
Um, just to like name a few, like it can be really anything that can shift in someone. It just depends where those spirits or that possessing energy is connected into. And I've had like irritable bowel syndrome be 90% healed after one session of clearing. I've had pain go away dramatically. I've had voices that people were hearing go away completely, just to name a few, but so many different things. Suicidal ideations, like someone was suicidal and they're like, this doesn't feel like me. I don't know what this is. Cleared some spirits, and then all of a sudden it's completely gone, like it was never there. So I have a ton of personal experience because I've had such a long journey of clearing all of that out for me. Then I'm really love helping people to do that too.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, you did that for me, as a matter of fact.
Right.
So, yeah, I had just struggled with these. It was a complex of a number of different things, but pain and anxiety combined, and just trying to figure out, what was going on, with it, and yeah, tapped right into it, and it was amazing, really, because I walked in, and when I walked out, it was gone, and it had
Nice.
been there for a long time.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
Thanks for sharing that.
yeah, that was pretty fantastic. So I can attest to that. Um, yeah, I've also noticed that for me, I know the academy really showed me, the Academy of Intuition Medicine, where you teach, and we both went. Um, I really learned that we're all just soaking up other people's energy, and it's
Mm,
like, because we're all surrounded by a bubble of electromagnetic energy, and which protects us, and they're interacting, and on the simplest level, you're just catching other people's charges and their whatever energies are on them, and it just kind of builds up in your field. And just clearing it out was a huge life-changing event for
yeah,
me.
absolutely.
And yeah, is that and it's something that doesn't readily occur to most people. That concept, it certainly didn't occur to me.
Hmm.
That was what was causing a lot of these issues, and um but it really is a thing. And now at the academy, and I've been taught and been doing this for years now, but just being able to clear out my own field,
Hmm. That's huge.
one or two times a day, just to, especially if you're around other people,
Mhm.
it really
Right.
helps it
And
out.
if you're working with other people too, yeah, in
Yeah.
any shape or form. Yeah, people don't realize how much their emotional state is impacted by that because they're taking on other people's emotions all the time if they don't have the tools to protect themselves.
Yeah. Some of us are more prone to that even than normal. So yeah,
Mhm. Absolutely.
be really powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when did your abilities, like your intuitive abilities, start to surface? When did you kind of realize, hey, wait, I'm good at this? Yeah.
A couple of funny stories. So when I was like maybe 4 or 5 years old, I was like running around in the backyard just playing, and I like completely stopped dead in my tracks, and I was like, I wonder why I chose to be born into this family. And it was like this really deep question, and then I was like, oh well, and I just kept playing. Like literally stopped for like 5 to 10 seconds and then played. So like I always had that, like a bit of that intuitive aspect going on.
Mhm.
Um, but when I was in college, I was I think 21 years old at that time, 22. I was living in this Buddhist practice house that was up in the Berkeley Hills.
Mhm.
And it was right next to, it was Native American land, Ohlone Indian land. And there's
Yeah.
this huge, like famous rock. It's called the Indian Rock.
Yeah. I know.
Oh yeah, you know, nice. And so it was the middle of the night. I like woke up. I was super hungry. I like had this massive metabolism back at that time, and so I could just eat. And I would wake up in the middle of the night starving. And so I went to the kitchen. I grabbed some food, and then all of a sudden, I just like felt that there were some spirits there. This was the first time I had seen spirits. Um, and so I started like opening up my perception, and I saw two Native American spirits, and I asked, "Oh, what happened to you?" And it showed me that they had been killed. They were partners, and I think one of them had cheated on the other or something, and it was just like this whole thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Oh, well, I can help you with that. Do you want to heal? Do you want to move on?" And they said yes. And I had no idea how I knew this at that point. And I just created this like pillar of divine light, and I offered it to them, and then they just like walked in and then went into the light and crossed over, and they were gone. And I was like, "Oh, that was cool. That was kind of easy."
Wow. Yeah.
All right, cool. And I just like went back to bed. The second time I did that, I had a girlfriend who we had just started dating, and she was being stalked by one of her old partners, and she's like, "Hi, he won't leave me alone. I think he's got spirits attached to him." And I was like, "Oh, well, I can take care of that." And I was very like cocky because I was like, "Oh, I've done this before." And I go into meditation and I start doing it, but I didn't do it in the same way. I just started like ripping spirits out, like, "Oh, that's they've just got to go. I've got to pull them out." And what happened during that time was I got really sick. Like I had a really bad flu, but it only lasted for 24 hours, if that. It was maybe half a day. I like woke up the next. I was like, "Oh, I'm totally fine," but it felt like a full-on flu with body aches, like nausea, no appetite. And that's because I wasn't as skillful. I tried to like force it instead of offering healing to the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But the good news was that guy left her alone and stopped bothering her.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something you just intuitively just came to you,
Yeah.
you know, what to do.
Yeah. Well, so now looking at it, I also know I've been doing this for lifetimes. This isn't my first time.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. Maybe you can describe a session with you to us, like what if someone comes to you for help. I mean, you've given us a little bit of insight into it, but
Yeah.
like, how does that generally go, or is there no kind of standard way? Is there a lot of different things that can happen?
There's a lot of different things that can happen in terms of the work, but the like overall structure follows a couple. So I do three different styles of treatments. I do one in person where it's a mix of acupuncture with energy work.
Mm-hmm.
I do Zoom or phone sessions as well with people, so that's just straight energy work. Or I have a lot of patients who just we do everything over email. Because I work in the morning. I'm a morning person. My wife's a night owl, so I try not to make a lot of noise in the morning so that she can sleep in. So I do a lot of sessions where it's just over email with people. So they email me the day before what they want to work on, and I text them before I start, and then I do all this energy work, and then I email them notes about what I'm doing. Or if it's phone or Zoom session, then what we do is we go into meditation. I look at them energetically. I tell them what I'm seeing, and then I start doing the work. And there's lots of different strategies that I use that I've developed over the years. Most of it is based in the cognitive intuition medicine training, but then I've also evolved the style and strategy. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and that's to make it more, for me, it's more effective, it's quicker, I can do a lot more, and people can handle a lot more than what I first had learned, because it's a smoother process for them to heal. So then they can handle more healing in a given session, which is great.
Oh, okay.
But if someone's in person with me, we'll go into meditation together. I'll look at them. I'll tell them what's going on. I'll either do a little bit of energy work there or at that point, or I'll say, let's get you on the table. I'll do the acupuncture. And either the acupuncture will be things that support the energy work, or if they have other things that are going on that they need help with, like let's say someone yesterday was like, "Oh, I'm having some asthma and digestive issues. And then I would do acupuncture for that. I would do energy work for the other things that they had going on. And then I also will always do energy work to support the acupuncture. So it's like bringing in different energies that support the healing, support the function of the needles, and then also just general healing energies. Yeah.
Mm, okay. And bringing in your different skills from different areas.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really fun combination. A lot of people are like, "How do you marry the two styles?" And I'm like, "It just makes perfect sense. Like
Yeah.
it just works."
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I have things like that. I had a client I was working with recently, and I didn't plan it. I didn't know I knew how to necessarily do what I was doing,
Hmm.
but because this was a client, it was someone that was had severe disabilities and was non-communicative
Hmm.
and really had no language.
Oh, it's
And
tough.
so, but it was sitting down, holding space, connecting, clearing, grounding everything out. I just did a number of things,
Hmm.
and maybe you can speak to this as well. I have found that really the most powerful part of, not every single time, but generally the most powerful part of when I work with someone, which has happened with this person, is it's just kind of the holding space, the compassion, and the connecting with them, and then they're in my world.
Hmm.
In that world, they're okay,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
And and that's what I did. And I brought in all these different things, and I had no plan or know what I was going to do, and but it can work really well.
Yeah.
And
You follow the energy and see where it takes you, right? See what's needed, see what their spirit's calling for.
yeah, just go with whatever's happening right then. Yeah.
Yeah. I think one beautiful part about it that you're speaking to is that you're also helping them to connect to their own spirit more deeply by holding space for them. So it allows them to get out of, this 3D pain, suffering, etc., get connected to their higher self where everything is perfect, right? And you're bringing that into their bodies to help them feel better.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I hadn't even thought of it exactly that way, but yeah, that's part of what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really just this holding space just allows them to really connect and heal. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. That's great. I'm glad that you're doing that work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been really rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, he, I really had a chance to, with more challenging people, just had a chance to really evolve more what I was doing.
Nice. Yeah. Are there any other cases that come to mind that you want to talk about?
Hmm. As far as what I've been doing, or just in general.
Yeah, as far as what you've been doing and how it relates to all of this.
Yeah. I've had a couple of others lately. I have one client that this client really likes the space being held and likes to talk,
Hmm.
just kind of dump everything out.
Hmm.
I'll do the work just while that's happening.
Right.
So rather than them just kind of sitting quietly and going through maybe a healing process,
Hmm.
this person will be just telling me every detail of everything. And I will and it's interesting. It's kind of like just the talking of the reciting what's happening. It's almost like a meditation. It's just like takes her to a different place, you know? So
Yeah.
she's over there doing that, and I'm over here doing this while
Uh,
she's connected with
yeah.
whatever events have been going on.
Yeah. One of the things that I've noticed is like, well, of course, patients like to use us as therapists, even though we're not therapists, but they share what's going on emotionally. But I ask them to share a little bit, even if it's briefly, because what I've noticed is that it brings up the energetic pattern in their system. Like, where is that emotional pattern being stored? what systems do we need to work with, and it gives clarity for the energy work and for the acupuncture too.
Mm. Yeah, I found that too. My work has gone over into, if that makes sense.
Mm,
It's energetic healing and physical healing, but so which made me question, what am I calling myself now?
mm.
I'm doing physical healing, we're doing emotional work, I'm doing energy
Yeah,
work.
just legally don't say therapy.
Yeah. What are we doing here?
Yeah,
Yeah. But it can get into that area. Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe I talk about holding space for a second. We've been talking about that. Like, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's so funny. We were watching a show on Apple TV, and it was like an older generation, and he's like talking to a younger person. He's like, "I have no idea what you mean by holding space."
Yeah.
Um, but for me, when I'm holding space for somebody, um, especially when I'm in session with somebody, I'm bringing in various different healing energies and just surrounding them with that, so that as they are going through what they're going through, then it allows them in order to release more easily, and it allows them to access it more easily. And so I love doing that. So like that's more a therapeutic aspect or a energy work aspect of holding space, but also there's the like just being someone who can be neutral or empathetic or sympathetic and be there for somebody so that they can explore whatever it is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting that you're including the different energies in part of that. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. What does it
Yeah.
mean to you?
Yeah. To me, it means essentially compassion.
Mm.
It's kind of holding a space of love is
Yeah.
what I'm doing. It's like, because I feel like when I really care about the person, which always happens if I'm sitting in front of a person, but
Mhm.
um, that seems to create this situation for healing.
Yeah.
Uh, it just not absolutely alone, but I think as you referred to before, it does create a space for them to connect up with their own spirit,
Right.
and and it seems pretty magical. It's like I'll
Yeah.
just sometimes it's like I'm not really doing much
Yeah.
grounding, you know,
Mhm.
kind of that, and I might run a couple energies that I kind of automatically do, but yeah, it's like
Nice.
kind of just letting them, find their own way and
Mm.
kind of clearing the space around them so there's not. It took me a while to realize I was doing this because I didn't really realize I was doing it. I'm not doing anything. Well, I am. And one of the things was I was really kind of creating a bubble around them and not letting other stuff
Mhm.
into it.
Oh yeah.
So that other people's energy and other people's stuff, because sometimes some of the clients are in institutional settings. So
Mhm.
other issues going on around don't penetrate into that bubble.
Right. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that can be, and I know when I work with clients in that situation, it's like kind of one of the biggest issues is just being in that situation that they're where they are and it's a place of that's kind of chaotic.
Mhm.
They're there to be taken care of and healed, but it's not necessarily the most conducive space to healing.
Yeah. There's often so much intense energy, emotional energy, spirits, all sorts of energy in those institutions. So, even when I have people who undergo surgery, that they often ask me to clear them energetically afterwards or to set up energetic protections for them beforehand so that they don't pick up stuff because it's so common. Like there's nobody going in and clearing hospitals in the US of energy like that. They need space clearings desperately, but they're just filled with all this intense energy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I have found is like that energy is just there's stuff in the moment that's actually happening then, but then whatever's lingering around. And it's that really seems to keeping that out and clearing that out seems to be a huge part of allowing them to heal.
Mhm. Absolutely. One of the things that patients often ask me as I'm doing, especially I'm doing emotional spiritual work with them, they're like, well, what can I do? How can I hold space for this myself? And there's like a couple of things that I do or that I tend to teach them. Um, One is I tell them to create a ball of divine light, like just imagine a ball of divine light and have it be filled with flags. So, four different intentions: forgiveness, love, acceptance, and gratitude. And have it filled with that. If they have a hard time finding that, then just ask the light to do that for them. Like they don't have to, but just set the intention that that's what's going to happen if they can't find that forgiveness. Um, and, with the acceptance piece, I'm often like, it does no good to deny what's going on in this moment. So you're just accepting what's in this moment. It doesn't mean you're saying this is the way it's going to always be. You can always find gratitude at the very least for saying that whatever you're going through is teaching you something. You're going to learn something out of this. And then send it love because love heals all things and see if you can forgive yourself, forgive it as possible. But then I say, flood your body with that light. Wherever you feel it in your body, just bring it through. And so that's like one of the big things. And I tell them the more that you do that without trying to heal it, you're just holding space for it in that way. You'd be surprised how much of it naturally heals because you're actually present with it. And so that's the basis. And like when I'm teaching about spiritual healing, emotional healing, I always say start with that. Forget doing all the tricks, all the things that you think are going to do to make it heal. Start with that and then do it, and you'll be surprised how much quicker and easier the healing happens.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about that a little more, the making it heal.
Yeah, people are often like, or sorry, go ahead. Finish your question before I
Yeah,
start.
it's really something that I ran into in my own personal healing journey was working really hard to make the healing happen and having that really slow me down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd love to hear you speak to that.
Yeah. So the style of meditation, I mentioned I started meditating around 21 years old more seriously. The style that I went deepest into was Buddhist meditation, specifically Vipassana or insight meditation. And it's all about being present with what's here, but it's based on Buddhist principles around suffering. And so two of those main things that always stick out for me is like two of the causes of suffering are one, we want something and we're not getting it,
Mm-hmm.
or two, we have something that's going on and we don't want it and it's not going away. So we're either grasping towards something, trying to pull it into us and it's not happening, or we're trying to push something away and make it go away and it's not happening. And in that process, we're creating polarity, we're creating aversion, we're creating suffering because we're not getting what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And so the process of not making it heal and just being present with it is what allows us to get out of that push pull and into a place where we can be more neutral with it. And then in that place that we're in more neutrality, that's when healing can start to happen spontaneously. Yeah.
So healing isn't something we consciously do, more of something we allow to happen.
We can consciously do it, but if
Yeah.
we start from that place where we're more balanced or equanimous, like equanimity is a big term in Buddhism, uh, without aversion or grasping, like the wanting or the pushing away,
Mm-hmm.
then it allows the other types of healing. We can still work on consciously healing. It
Yeah.
allows that other work when we come from that place to be more smooth, to be more,
Uh,
yeah, to happen more easily.
so then when you're doing other healing energies, you're coming from more of a place of not forcing it, of being
Mhm.
neutral,
Yeah,
so
being more balanced.
balanced. Yeah.
Yeah, so that there's less resistance to the healing. Yeah. Because if I'm like, oh, I hate this thing that's going on with me, this has to heal, this has to go away, it has to. We're coming from a place that's with almost aggression, or I don't know what's the word, like forcing with, there's not a calm, peaceful healing that's happening. And so you're creating more friction with it. Whereas if you're like, oh, I'm holding space for this, and then I'm going to allow healing to happen, I'm still going to do all the things I need to do. I'm going to hold the intention that this is going to heal, but it's not like this push, 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 force, force, force. Then it happens much more easily.
Mm. Yeah, so we're not going against it. We're not pushing directly, because when you push directly against something,
It pushes back.
yeah, you could push it back. And I think everything in the universe it's moving in a certain direction.
Yeah.
Maybe similar to like a keto or something, just kind of
Mm.
changing the course slightly rather than trying to stop it from existing,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is impossible, right?
Right.
Since it exists. Yeah.
But you can transform it, right?
Yeah.
And it can be transformed.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I do this with my emotional transformative some different exercises that kind of allow your emotion to exist, live with it, be with it, and you kind of go to a neutral place and then kind of allow it to transform into something else,
Mm.
to transform into something where all the emotions have these, different frequencies and stuff to the thing of the corollary frequency that's more positive.
Mm.
And like anger wants to be power and self-respect, and fear wants to be love, and
Mm.
like that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a smooth allowing thing, and you give time for the first stage to be,
Yeah.
and then just kind of gently coax it into becoming the other thing,
Yeah.
rather than, because what I learned was that, oh, I keep feeling this, whatever it is, fear,
Mm-hmm.
it's not that, oh, I have this fear and it's lasting for hours. It's
Mm-hmm.
that I'm thinking about it and creating it again and again.
Mm. Right.
So it's allow it to exist for the first normal stage, which is really only like 15 seconds to 2 or 3
Mm.
minutes. It's not that long.
Mm.
And then rather than then think about other things, allow it to turn into the love aspect of it.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
that seems so pretty right. It just reminded me of that. It's something I do on a regular basis.
Nice. Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, I know Caroline Casey talks about spiraling, like instead of spiraling off of things, with that spinning,
Mm.
and allows you to not be against it,
Mm. Yeah.
spiral it into something else.
Yeah.
And it
It's a good image.
brought up a few things that I kind of would like to talk about.
Sure.
There's so many different terms and words and things that are kind of, I think, challenging for people, or misunderstood, or
Mm.
people confused about. And some of them are like intention, for instance. Like what does that mean to you? Like, what's the process of that?
I'm more at the place these days where your intentions or your prayers or whatever you want to call it, it's what you focus the most on. It's not just what you do when you like put your hands together, say
Mm.
what you want, but it's what you do day in and day out throughout the day. So like if you're focusing on this fear throughout the day and then you pray for, something to be different than that in whatever way it is that you want to come true. 99% of your day has been spent with the intention of fear. And so it's not to deny what you're feeling and what you're thinking, but we have a conscious choice of how we direct our minds and what we focus them on. So,
Mm-hmm.
in whatever way we set the intention for that, throughout the day, whatever we think on, that's what we bring into our existence.
Oh, that makes me think of dedication.
Mm. In
So
what way?
maybe, well, it's when you're really dedicated to something, you keep it close to you, you keep it with you, you keep it top of mind.
Mm.
And so if you do that with fear, you're dedicated to the fear.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And of course, there's other things like the Academy teaches, the eighth chakra meditation and like all that kind of stuff as a way of manifesting, right? And all of
Yeah.
that's important. And there's all sorts of different tools for that. Um, but
Hmm.
I really love that. Like, oh, I can direct my mind throughout the day as much as possible on what it is that I want. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Something that I struggled with for many years, maybe you can speak to this, is gratitude. People would say,
Mm,
be. So I would sit down and go, okay, I'm grateful. Wait, how do I do that?
mm.
You know, and to conjure up the gratitude was,
Yeah.
I'm not sure I ever did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Do you have any insight into that?
It's something that I've been trying to consciously work on every more. So I use this meditation app called the Insight Timer that just has, I mean, it's got all the cool different things, but I'd use it for the timer so I can time my meditations.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I always start with looking through because people talk about what it is that they're grateful for. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like little things to huge things. It's like from breath or water to like time with my loved ones to I don't have cancer anymore. Like there's all these like wide range of things that people are grateful for. It always reminds me to like be to look around and be like, oh, what's going on in my life that I'm happy for, I'm grateful for. Like I'm lucky I get to live on the water and go on the water once or twice a week. Like how amazing is that? And so sometimes I really feel it, and sometimes it feels just like I'm going through the motions, but I try
Yeah.
to connect into my heart first and then focus on what it is I'm grateful for, and it tends to make it stronger.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what that process is meant for. You think of the things that you kind of know you're grateful for, and then maybe they'll come up. I
Yeah.
always did have trouble with that. They didn't necessarily bring me to a place of gratitude. I think what I eventually determined was I'm not making myself more grateful. I'm just finding the gratitude I already have,
Right.
just becoming aware of it
Yeah.
rather than conjuring it up.
Yeah. Right. And then whatever we focus on, we start to engender and it gets stronger, and that's our intention. And then it just starts to naturally happen throughout the day more.
Yeah. So it's awareness,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And there's so many different nuances like this. The forgiveness, I think, is another one of these things. What I think there's a lot of misunderstanding around forgiveness and what it is.
Hmm.
It's maybe seen as a gift to someone who's wronged you,
Mm.
letting them off the hook. And
Hmm.
maybe something you don't really want to do, but you're doing it because you're supposed to, or it's right thing to do, or um, you know want to show mercy or clemency to this person.
Right.
Uh, I'm, what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah. I off and on have had major issues with my brother. And it was a little over a year ago that I finally was like, I'm completely done. Like I cut him out for periods of times and then I would be like, okay, let's give him a try again. And I gave him warning. Like one of the things that one of my wife's spiritual teachers had mentioned was like, if there's something that's a deal breaker for you in any relationship with anyone, tell them what it is and then give them three strikes. If they do it again, warn them again, and then if they do it a third time, then you're just done. No more. And so I did that, and I gave him four strikes, maybe five, but he kept just being verbally and emotionally abusive to me, like very hurtful, very abusive. And I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And I was extremely angry, processing so much anger over all these years of doing all of this. Excuse me. And then it was like a couple months ago, I got to this place of forgiveness with him, and the ego, the mind was like, well, if we forgive him, then we're letting him back in. I was like, no, we can forgive him without letting him back in. It doesn't mean I have to have him in my life anymore. but I can still
Mm-hmm.
forgive him. And the way that I got to that point was by greeting him spirit to spirit,
Mm-hmm.
going past his ego, past his mind, past his patterns, speaking directly to his spirit and thanking him because regardless, there's something for here for me to learn. There's something that's for my highest good that's going to get me to my next level in my growth and my evolution. And so getting to that place, I was like, oh, I can forgive from this perspective. It helped me to, yeah.
Mm, that's
Doesn't mean
good.
you doesn't mean you put up with the shit, that they do.
Yeah. 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 The way I started to see it recently is more like the forgiving is for me, not for them.
Yeah.
It's so that I'm not holding on to this energy that
Hmm.
it is. It's really me holding on to anger, or it's drama, really. I'm victimizing myself. I'm
Hmm.
holding the place of victimhood.
Right.
And the forgiving is so that I can free myself from that and take
Hmm.
back power. And it really doesn't have all that much to do with them,
Right.
And it
Yeah.
doesn't mean, yeah, I have to speak to them ever or let them in my life. Certainly nothing like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a sense of everyone does what they do. Whatever happens, happens. They did the best they could. They simply are in the place they're in. And
Hmm.
there's no blame around that because that's what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Yeah.
I just am not going to be around it.
Yeah. Exactly. And we can have compassion because they're suffering. Like if they're treating other people that way, how are they treating themselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People tend to reflect the way they were treated.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Mm.
So I'll wrap up here pretty soon, but before we finish up, if there's like one thing you could say to people, especially for people who are stuck, people who just don't know what to do next, or they've tried a lot of things and they're not working, um, any words of wisdom, either one technique they could do or an area they could start with, or maybe something that you did that really helped you. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, it's that technique that I mentioned before with flag, the divine light, with
Mm-hmm.
forgiveness, love, acceptance, and gratitude. Uh,
Okay.
like, honestly, that's don't expect it to be like all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm better. But like the more you do it and you build momentum and you continuously practice that, the stronger it gets and the easier it gets. The other thing that I love to do is love running a violet flame through my body. It's very purifying, both emotionally and physically.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll also run a rose pink flame, which is very loving energy, and run
Mm-hmm.
that through my body. And the two of those together are really helpful. And again, it's the same thing. Like if you try it once and you're like, oh, it didn't work, you're not really getting it. You have to practice these energies more and more. And the more
Yeah.
you do it, the stronger it gets, but it takes time.
Yeah, it does. It takes time.
Yeah.
And remember to ground first.
Yes. Grounding is always a good thing to do. What can you let go of into the earth so that Mother Earth can take care of it for us?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't tried the the ball of light with those four particular things. I'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Let me
Yeah.
know.
All right. Will do. All right, Danny. Thank you for having this conversation. It was
Yeah.
yeah, it was really a good time.
Yeah. Likewise. I appreciate it. Always happy to be here. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to see you too.
Yeah.
All right. You have a good day.
Yeah. You too.